All right, so welcome back to C8 Corvette tutorial in Solidworks, and this is going to be part 23. No, part 24 actually. So let's just go over a few things that we did on the last tutorial. We were working with this surface here, and then I said that this surface is here. We can fix these surfaces up, and then um, yeah, just create some more fluidity in these joints here. So let's have a look at the picture here. So it's very fluid on that section, so there's no edge to that section, right? Okay, so let's try some things here. And first thing I want to do is I want to come down here to mirror, and I want to delete that mirror from there because we will add some more surfaces to this side, and then we're gonna mirror over, so we don't want any double surfaces on other side, right? So let's try and fix that body here somehow. So I'm going to knit these surfaces together here, and then once I knit these together, I'm gonna jump to the front plane here and make a sketch on the front plane, and I'm going to grab a spline and then go from here out to about here, and I'm gonna grab another spline and then go from here out to about here. Okay, and then I'm going to close these lines here, and I'm going to convert these entity here, and let's try and trim out some of these edges here. And now let's try a surface trim. Obviously it's not going to let us do that, but if it's not, then we're going to split the surface. So let's try that. Okay, so it did execute that command there, so I'm very happy with that. And then we have this section here. It's probably gonna cause us some ugly surfaces here. So let's delete this surface trim. Okay, and we still have our sketch there, and then we're going to just edit that sketch. And then you already know what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull out these points here, so it's going to trim out the whole thing. All right, and I want to add a exit this sketch before I'm trimming anything, and I want to add a 3D point onto this edge here, so we have a reference to go from on the next surface, right? So exit that one, and then let's go to surface trim and trim the surface out if it will let us do that. So let's select the this body here. All right, so surface trim surface, select the trim tool, and then remove this whole piece here. Okay, and then we kept our 3D point here, which is important. We will connect with this surface here. So let's grab that 3D sketch and grab that 3D spline, and we're gonna go from here to that point, and then I'm going to make a tangency on that curvature, and I'm just gonna jump into here to first display state and make sure that we are following our curvature, and we are right on that curvature, so that is good in fact. Okay, so let's just have a look from the top, and it looks pretty good from the top as well. All right, it looks good from the top as well. And then jump into the second display state here, and then I'm going to grab a other 3D spline here and then connect it from here to that point, right? And then exit the sketch, and let's see if we can add these surface here. So surface, boundary surface. Let's select this line. We don't need the whole thing. So clear selection, selection managers. So just the line, the top line, and the bottom line here. And then for direction 2, let's choose these edges here and see what we get. So selection manager, this line and this line, and I press OK. And it did give us that this surface here, which is not the surface we are looking for, right? But how about if we introduce this line here to the control curves? It's probably not going to let us do that. So let's do selection manager. And the selection manager did let us do that line there, right? So let's check that surface. It's probably not going to be good, but all right. So it looks a lot better already than the other surface. And let's try and add a fillet to that surface here. Let's choose fillet. And let's try with 1. Okay, and then try a bit more. So let's try that. Right. So yeah, that's pretty much wrong. It's not what we want. So we're gonna delete this whole thing. All right. So let's grab another 3D sketch here. And let's go from this point to this point here. And then let's jump to our first display state. And normal to profile. And we want to add a tangency to this curvature here. So press that, hold control, and add tangency to that. And it did create that for us. And of course, we're going to pull this point up to this there. And then maybe that actually looks good. It's just a tiny bit more curvature on that there. So let's have a look from the side. If we jump over to our second display state and see this curvature here from the top, and that looks kind of okay. Of course, we will see in a minute. So we got these edges here and these edges here. Okay, so let's try and create this surface. The surface, boundary surface. Let's try with this line and this line here. And for direction 2, it's this point here, which is going to be a tangency to face. Okay, and press OK, or we can add another control line, maybe this side here. Okay, so let's have a look. So that's a good looking surface there. We need to bring back the that 3D sketch. 3D sketch show. Okay, and then let's do another boundary surface here from this point, this line to this line here. Obviously, flip the connectors by hovering over the pink one, and then we have something here. That's which is interesting. Which is caused by this point probably. So let's pull that up until you see a black line, black point. Okay, so that line is still there, but we can work with that afterwards. So direction 2 is this one there. And then let's add tangency on edge here. On the tangency. And then yes, so this surface looks a lot better. The curvature stops around here, have some tangency there. And then this line here. Let's bring up section this view, and let's have a look here. Right, so it's not that visible that, but we can work on that afterwards as well. Okay, so this surface looks good, and then let's hide these lines here. It looks a lot better now. Nice tangent surface on that section. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is going to be this area here, and then it's going to be a very easy surface to create. So what we're going to do with this one is jump to our first display state here. Let me see, we are recording. So jumping into the first display state here, a normal to profile. And then what we're going to do is grab a 3D curve here, and we're gonna go from this end corner, this line here. So I believe you do have that line. If you don't, you can just convert that edge and pull it out. But you should have it if you've been following my tutorial. So I want to make that line tangent, so hold control and then make tangents and that, maybe pull that a little bit out. Okay, so that looks good. And we don't need to create this second surface here because it stops stops at this area. So that surface stops in this area, and there's just one surface that leans into that section. All right. So before we're going to continue, we're going to grab a glass so we can see through this whole thing. All right. And then I want to trim out this area here for the door. So let's make a sketch on the front plane. Just a normal sketch, not 3D sketch. Sketch on the front plane here. Turn it over. And then let's grab a spline. And we're gonna go all the way from up there to all the way to that corner. Okay, and then grab that line and just pull that line down until we on the edge, of course. And I want to add a spline point somewhere here, and come out of the spline point and come out the whole thing and click the line again and add our control polygon. So now we have all the connectors here that we need. All right, so that looks pretty good over here as well. And then we're just going to press OK. and then jump over to surfaces and then trim this surface out. These surfaces. Let's see if SolidWorks will let us do that. It did, so that's fantastic. All right, and then I want to extend these areas here. All the way inside that area, so that's perfect. And let's see if we can extend that as well. We can, that's good. And let's just pull it back a little bit like that. That's okay on that. That section is now closed in, and then we can add another surface behind that just to close that section off. All right, so jump over to our second display state. And then you probably already know what we're going to do. So we're going to grab a 3D sketch, and we're gonna go grab that spline, and then we're just gonna stay on this line here. And I'm gonna come all the way to the corner of that body. All right, and then we're going to grab another 3D spline, and we're just gonna come from here. That point. Okay, and then of course another 3D spline. Not that we need it, but we can actually just use the edge. So let's take that spline out. All right. So now let's jump over to fill surface, and let's see if we can create this surface here. Selecting these lines and selecting this edge here. And it did give us that beautiful surface there that we were looking for. So press OK. Okay, fantastic. So we have that surface there created as well. All right. So now we're gonna jump into our future tree here, and let's find that sketch that we used for trimming. Surface trim. That's the sketch right there. Show that, and then we're going to go normal to profile. And of course, we're going to come in here and then edit the sketch or not. So we're just going to make another sketch on the front plane, and then we're going to convert this line here, and then we're going to offset this line, and we're just going to offset it 1, and that's going to be but our joints is 0.5 all the way around, so let's do 0.5, and then that will be our joint, because we have 0.5 here as well. So let's get into close with these connecting points here. Press OK, and then we want to grab another line here and just come out with this and then connect these dots. And then we want to come up to the top and then close up these points as well. Okay, so exit this sketch here, and then we're gonna try and do a split line. So let's select the split line, and then a current sketch, clear selection, and let's select our current sketch here, not that one. Clear selection. We want to make sure that we select clear selections. All right. Let's try that again. Exit out of the sketch. Okay, and we want to hide that one line that we used. So it's sketch 11. So hide that sketch 11. And we still have the line that we made here. So let's jump in here to, what is it called? Split line. And let's select the whole sketch. So I selected all that sketch. And for the faces, we're going to select all the faces that's going to be trimmed. So it's all selected. And select these sketch faces. And select these ones as well. And it's going to be projection. They did project these selections onto us. So let's go delete these joints here, if we can find them. So let's select that one there. Let's select that one. Let's see if we can select more. And then of course this one down here. So just gonna see if we can select the whole thing. And then it continues on to here. So let's try and see if it let us do the whole thing. It did. Fantastic. All right, so now we have the joints on this door as well. So now they are separate bodies. So that's fantastic. We can actually now work with the door to open up and close it in the end, of course, if we get to that far. We will. All right. Okay, so let me see how much time we have. Yeah, we still have time. So, of course, we still got some surfaces to create here. And the surface is going to be just a split cut on this surface here, because if you have a look at the picture, we can see that when we created this line, we cut from here and we cut this side out, but we still need to cut this side here. All right, so let's do that. Let's make a sketch on the front plane. Make it on the front plane, normal to profile. And of course, we're just going to offset some of the edges that we already have, so we don't have to draw that again. So convert. So let's select these lines here. Convert entities. Okay, press OK. And then we're going to offset these areas here. And you box select the whole thing. Let's try that again. Control Z, the offset. So let's go to convert entities again. Okay, so press OK. And then let's do an offset. So let's try and select this whole sketch here. All right, and we want to reverse that and probably try 5. So if we try 5 on that, try 5. Yeah. So I think 5 might be not good, and it's not sharp enough. So we're not going to offset this curvature. Instead, we're going to draw a new one. So let's grab that spline, and it's going to be coming from here. Okay, and then just click on the line and then bring up our control polygons. And make this area here nice and sharp. Just like that. And make this corner area here nice and sharp as well. So drop these two connecting points onto here. That creates this nice sharp edge for us. And then make this a little bit sharper here. So that looks fantastic. And then let's just close up. Obviously, we need to do an offset, maybe. So let's try that. And let's try 1 millimeter offset on that one. And that's probably going to trim our surface here, hopefully. All right. So yeah, let's try 1 millimeter trim here. That's okay. And then let's close these lines here. Let's go a bit over like that. And then we just get the trim tool and then trim these things out here. And let's have a look for this side as well. That looks good. And let's get rid of this in here. Okay. So press OK. And now let's see if we can do a trim surface first. And then let's select these inside lines. Okay, so it did let us do that, so that's fantastic. Okay, so now we have that surface here created. So let's check our picture, and then we can see that it's a bit thicker, so we're going to thicken that, and then maybe add this sort of corner section here. So obviously we want to make this right. So let's do first, let's try and do a thicken comment here, and then we want to thicken and the whole piece, thicken command, and then let's thicken that one first, and let's try one on that. And they want to reverse thicken, so press OK. And that thicken that surface there, and then thicken this one as well, 1 millimeter, and that thickened it there for us as well. Okay, and then let's try and add a fillet, a chamfer actually, and if that will let us do so 0.1, and let's go on this corner. We just want not the whole corner, just the outside corner. So, or maybe the whole thing. Maybe 10 is too much here. Yeah. All right. So I had a phone call I had to take. So we were where were we? Right. We were trying to add fillets to these edges. Let's try that again. Let's add fillets. Let's try one. Not fillets, is going to be a chamfer. So let's try one. And that add that fillets perfectly. So let's try to add it on this one as well, maybe afterwards. So press OK here. And let's try and add that chamfer on this corner here. And that registered, that's good. And let's add that chamfer on this section here as well. And that registered as well, so that's fantastic. Okay, so we are looking good here. And then we can also later on add some surfaces here to create that body part there as well. So let's have a look at the picture. And the picture looks good. All right. Okay, so that's good. And then the second surface we're going to do here is going to be down at the bottom there. So let's remove this glass here. Blue glass, remove glass, remove appearance. And then we just want to have a look from here, right? And then we want to grab a 3D sketch that's going down from this corner to the end of this bottom section. So that's one. And let's add the second one here. Let's add here, right? And then let's jump over to our second display state. And then, of course, we need to adjust these lines. So let's jump into the rear view. And we want to move these lines in. If it would let us, that one did let parallel delete. And now it does go in. Okay, so we want to stay somewhere there, and then it falls into about that far. And then just follow that line, be parallel to that one. And then let's have a look again from the side. And then jump to the first display state and see if we are on the target here. And then we are on target. So that's good. And then let's grab that 3D spline here and then come from this point to this point here. Okay, and then we're just gonna add some profile to that curvature. And just gonna pull that in like that far and then exit the sketch. Okay, and then now let's jump over to the second display state. Display state. And then let's go to surfaces, boundary surface. Selection manager, select this line here. And select this line here. Obviously flip the connectors. Actually exit that. The boundary surface. You know what? Let's hide this line here. Hide, and let's snip straight onto the surface here. But we might have problem there, so let's bring that line back. Second display state. Okay, so we have that line. All right, so surfaces, boundary surface, and then selection manager, and let's choose this bottom line, and then the top line. Flip the connectors, and then for second directions, let's choose this here. Clear selection. Have to, yeah, you don't have to, so clear selection. Press OK. So we have the bottom section there. All right. So now we can hide this line here. And there's one body that we want to create here, which is the lower lip. and that is going to be this surface here. So somewhere around here, we're going to make a point up here, and then make a point down here, and then just put a sketch onto that surface up here and then the bottom. So let's jump into 3D sketch again, and let's grab that 3D point. And the first point is going to fall to here, somewhere down here, a little bit in, like that. And the second point is gonna fall to here, and then third point goes somewhere in the midline, midway, maybe under that section, a little bit in, somewhere here. All right, so it's going to be on the top right, somewhere here. Okay, so let's try and create that surface with these connecting points. So let's grab that spline and then go from here to this point, and then this point, and that's that surface. And then we're gonna grab another one from this point to this point, and that curvature will have a profile. So let's grab that profile on that, and it's going to be this profile here. Let's pull that out so that we can see. Come to the top, and that will come out something like that far. Okay. And then we're gonna make another point somewhere here. Okay, and that spline from this section, this point, and to this point here. And then that completes that lower lip section. So let's have a look how it's going to look. And of course, let's try a boundary surface, and of course, selection manager. So select this line here, press OK, and then selection manager again. It's going to be the outside line, the middle one, this one here, press OK. And then that has a little bit of kankiness here, so let's try that again. So boundary surface, let's try from here, and then this line here, and that's a lot better now. That's okay. And then another one, boundary surface. Of course, we need to bring back the 3D sketch. So feature tree is going to be this here, so show, and then boundary surface from this line. It's okay. This line, and then okay. Okay, so we don't need to enter agency on that. So that lower lip section looks beautiful. So let's hide this line here. And that is perfect. All right. So I think that almost complete the side of the vehicle. So now we can move on and then create the windshield, the front windshield. Okay, the front windshield. And then for this front windshield, we need to grab a 3D sketch. Let's bring up these lines here. So let's come in here and grab a 3D sketch, which is going to be a center line. And then we want to get exactly on the middle point here. All right. And then we want to be in the Y and X, and then we are. And then we're just going to come down a little bit. So let's jump to the side here. And that's probably going to be enough of a draft for us. Not too deep, because that's where the windshield wiper will be. And for the other points, we're going to use this point here. So if you look at the picture real quickly, so it comes up, that section here comes up here to that point, and it goes in. Okay, so let's grab a spline, and then we're just gonna come from this point right onto that point there. And let's jump into our first display state and jump up to the top. And let's just move this line here. And then we want to make this handlebar to be fixed along the z-axis, right? The z-axis. Okay. And then maybe we can pull this line a little bit closer. Let's leave it there. Control Z to get it straight. So let's fix that line as well along the x-axis, and then that completes that. All right, so it seems like it's not on exactly on the middle, so delete this one here and put that into the middle. Okay, so that's perfect all the way around. That's good. And then let's just check our second display state. If we still have our draft. So let's jump to the side view here. And let's pull that line down. Tangent C. Pixel on Z. Delete. That's the draft we're looking for. So now we are looking good on this area here. It comes down here. All right. So obviously the next curvature we're going to do is going to be, it's going to be with the first display state, and then it's going to come from here, which is going to be a spline, and it's going to come all the way up to this point, that point there. And let's just add a profile to this windshield. That's probably a good profile. And then we need to add a second line here. Okay, but to add that second line, first we need to create some construction lines here. So exit the sketch, and we're gonna make a sketch on the top plane. That point is all the way up here. So let's just pull it down to here, and then we'll check that curvature afterwards. Okay, and then the second point is going to be on the top plane, so make a sketch on the top plane. Okay, right. So top plane, make a sketch. Normal to profile. And that point is still there. Okay, so point, and we're gonna come from this point here. Okay, and then we're just gonna bring this point up. So let's grab a exit this sketch, and then we're just gonna grab a 3D sketch, center line, and this point here. And we want to be on the X and Y, and we are. So pull it all the way up there, and then jump in here. So it's going to come all the way up to here. Okay. So the second curvature is going to come from this point to this point here. So let's just exit the sketch, make sure that we are on 3D sketch. So 3D sketch, and then spline, and then from this point up to that point there. Oh wow. So side view, and then let's bring that point down where it needs to be. So it's going to be somewhere here. Okay, and let's add a profile to that curvature as well. All right, and looks good there. That looks good there. Maybe a little bit in like that. Exit the sketch, and I'm not seeing our curvature here because it filed down, which is this one here. So let's delete that, and we're gonna create it again. It deleted the whole thing. So Control Z to bring it back. Let's just go edit that sketch. Okay, side view, and delete that coincident, and then bring it up to here. Bring it up to that point. Okay, so that looks good there. A little bit more up. And then let's just have a look from the top. And then we are almost on the target. So hold shift. And then let's hope that it didn't snap again to the bottom. It did. Control Z. Let's just leave it there. Okay, so that looks good. Exit the sketch. Okay, so we have our two curvatures there. All right. So let's just grab another 3D curve here. And let's go from this point to this point, obviously. We jump onto the top. And we're going to add that profile here as well. So we're going to add a fix along the z-axis onto this this curvature here. fixed alongside, and that looks good there. Exit the sketch here, and let's see if we can move this up by any means. Yes, we did. Did it snap to the bottom again? It did snap to the bottom. All right, so Control Z, and it's been up. Okay, so we're gonna leave it like that, and then jump over to second display state, and then let's create the surface here. It's a very easy surface to create. So surface, build surface, and then just check these lines here, and then we have a nice surface there. Okay, so now let's mirror this windshield over to the other end, and mirror. And of course, we're going to mirror again on the front plane, and then it's a body that over, and then we are looking quite good. So no edges on this surface. Okay, so that is good. Let's knit this surface together. Surface knit, and this one as well. Knit that together. Into one surface. Okay, so we have a bit of a gap here. So let's do a boundary on this small gap. And this edge here. Okay, so boundary surface. Delete that actually. Okay, so we're going to make that gap on that to disappear. So top plane sketch, and just going to make a center rectangle right in the middle of this area here. All right, press OK. Let's go to surfaces, trim surface. Let's trim out these two here, 1 and 2. Trim that out. And then let's do a boundary surface here on these two surfaces. And of course, tangents to face on both ends. Tangents to face, tangents to face. And it's perfect. All right, so now let's knit them together. Okay, good. So that's complete. That completes our windshield. We can just mirror over. We can just mirror over the other side as well, just to have a look. Mirror over the front plane, and what is to mirror? So this whole door section, this surface here, this surface. It's probably not gonna do this the solid surface here, so we might have to take off the solid section of those surfaces. And this one. Okay, did mirror over the whole thing, which is good. So that's fantastic. And then of course the bottom sections as well. The mirror, front plane, bodies to mirror. Okay, good. All right. So this completes this tutorial, and see you back in tutorial part 25, because this is going to be 24. All right. So there's one more thing I want to say before I finish that. Most car manufacturing companies prefer to use Cotil V5 and also Siemens NX10. However, Ford do use SolidWorks, and then maybe some other companies as well. But I believe once you learn it in SolidWorks, because it's a very easy to use and fluid way, then once you move over to another CAD software, I think it's gonna be a lot easier. So let's leave this tutorial here and see you back in the next tutorial. Thank you.